Hey all you goggers, if you just picked this game up, welcome to AVP Classic 2000. I hope you enjoy this game. I've been playing this since the year 2000, obviously when it was Gold Edition, and I've been playing multiplayer pretty consistently for the past over a year when I got it on Steam. So this is just sort of going to be a guide for setting up multiplayer games because mostly what you'll see is this screen. Unfortunately, no sessions were found, so you'll have to make your own session if you generally want to have people join. So let's take a look at some of the options that you have. So you have obviously hosting a new game, being the host, and you have join an existing game. So let's talk about the game styles first. So obviously you have deathmatch, team deathmatch, so all the species work on their own teams. Last man standing. This is the host starts off as the alien, and everyone else is a marine. And when you kill a marine, the marine turns into an alien, and it's the person who is the last man standing gets the most points. Predator tag is pretty simple. The host starts off as the predator. Whoever kills the predator becomes the predator, and so on and so on. Alien tag sort of works the same way. And so co-op is the obviously the version where you're going to be, it's basically skirmish mode but with multiplayer. So a lot of players, at least in the Steam version, seem to like co-op a lot. So one of the tips I have is if you want to have people, at least this worked in Steam I think better than in GOG. At least from what I've seen. I haven't seen a lot of co-op games, but one of the things that we would do is if we wanted players, we'd have a game set up on co-op and then maybe move it to DM when we got enough players. But yeah, let's take a look at some of the choices here. So obviously you have the maps here. You have game speed, which can lower to 70%. And maximum is 100%. Score limit, so you can generally, it's never going to get to 10 million points or whatever, so you can just, if you want to set it really low, instead of scrolling down really fast, you just press enter and then type in something like 10 or 20 or 50. This isn't so relevant unless you actually change the point value, because if you have 50 points but you have alien value of 75, marine value of 100, and predator value of 150, you are going to have the game over immediately after one kill. So I recommend just having no score limit. Time limit, obviously you can set this for 10 or 20, whatever. Invulnerability time is the amount of time that you have after respawning where you can't take damage. The invulnerability time only lasts until you fire a weapon or you charge your tail if you're an alien. So even if it's set to 5 seconds, if you immediately charge your tail, you will have your invulnerability time lost. This is pretty self-explanatory. So the maximum number of predators you can have in a match, same with aliens, same with marines, and these are our specialists. So standard marines is just the regular marine who can pick up anything. Starts off with the pulse rifle and no other weapons. Pulse rifle marines starts off with, I believe, 9 magazines and 15 pulse grenades. So I'd like to choose this a lot. Smart gunner, specialized, and obviously the marines start off with that weapon that they specialize in and can't pick up any other weapons except for pistols. So flamer, Sadar, which is the rocket launcher, grenade, minigun, and skeeter and twin pistol marines. I generally disable skeeter and grenade launcher because they grenade launcher marines tend to spam proxies a lot, which is really annoying because they're really cheap kills. And the skeeter launcher is also a pretty cheap weapon. It's this kind of rocket launcher that shoots a homing laser, and it doesn't take any skill to use. You just shoot it and hope that it hits something. So what I do is I set this to 0 so no one can specialize in those, and I also disable it here so you can't actually pick it up. Same thing for the disc and the Predator pistol. I find those to be extremely cheap. The disc takes no skill to use, you just throw it, and as long as you're in the right vision mode, it will pretty much guarantee a kill. It can even go around corners, so it's really frustrating to play against, and it's really cheap, and just don't use it. Same with the Predator pistol. Now, this is a direct hit with this will instantly kill a Xeno. It does basically nothing to another Predator, and it does not even really moderate damage to a Marine. You have to hit them a lot with it. But the thing is that you can spam it because you have about like 20 shots with it with a full field charge, and as long as you're even close to it, the area of effect damage will take a Xeno down instantly. So I disable this. Generally keep these all enabled. I turn dynamic scoring off because what dynamic scoring is if you have one player who's doing really well, they'll actually gain fewer points for each kill, and if anyone kills that player, they'll gain more points than they normally would. I find that to be kind of like compensating, so I don't really like that. Species scoring, just leave this on. Base kill value is how much a suicide is worth. So if you want a suicide to be worth nothing, you can just set this to 0. If you want a suicide to be worth like a lot of points, you can set it higher. These are the default values: 75 for the alien, 100 for the Marine, 150 for the Predator. And then these are for the co-op mode. Lives, you can actually set these for, you can set these lower than infinite. You can set it to like 9 or whatever, but you don't have to do that. Shared lives is if you're on co-op mode, or if you're in species deathmatch or any sort of cooperative gameplay where you share lives with the other teammates. Objects respawn score is the objects won't respawn until someone obtains a certain score after a certain number of points have been obtained. This is the default 40 seconds for object respawn time. If you set this really low, it's very frustrating for aliens. It's pretty frustrating for everyone because you can just stand on an item and just keep picking it up over and over again, so it's pretty annoying. Pre-destroyed lights is pretty self-explanatory. If you turn it off, then all the lights are there. If you have it on, then all the lights are destroyed, so it's much darker. Disable friendly fire. I generally do this for co-op mode, so if you have some asshole who is thinking he's smart for killing teammates, it doesn't matter because just friendly fire is disabled. I usually turn falling damage off, even though I play as the Predator, or as I play as the alien, because it just makes it a little bit more fair, I think. I don't really like having fall. So I think default is actually on. So I tend to turn this off. I think this is the default. Pistols have infinite ammo and specialists have pistols. Alright, so that's pretty much it for going through starting your games. So let's start it up and see if we get anything.